attuned to bottom up therapy instead of the traditional talk therapy, you know, where we start at the top and go down, but bottom up therapy to release traumas and stressors from our bodies, because we know that the mind is in every cell of our body. And as soon as you think a thought, the body responds. And I think it's an amazing gift to be able to, the same way that we have stress and trauma come in through our five senses, I believe that we can release it out in that same manner. So I'm excited to see y'all. You just let me know, brother, when we should start, and I'm rocking
Well,
and
I
rolling.
wanted to confirm you on our retreat next year in the UK. I want you to come. So,
Well, hopefully we'll all be able to travel, right?
well, yeah, that's true. So it's in July anyway, so you're invited. So yeah, please start wherever you want. I'll silence my mic.
All right. So brothers and sisters and they, I'm going to make sure I'm clear. I don't know how everyone identifies, but I usually greet everybody as family and brothers and sisters and they. And so to start us off, I want to invite you all to get into a position in front of your camera where you can come in. So I'd like you to start with seeing each other. We're going to see us. And if you can get positioned where you can see, and as many people as you can put on your screen, can you please do that? And taking this time to position yourself and your Zoom screen in a way that you're able to see each brother, each sister, each day, right? And now position in this position, I want you to begin to start scanning. So just looking into the eyes of all your brothers and sisters and they from all over, right? Just scan along. Go one person to the next. See each of them. Yeah, and if you need to move along and get into another screen and observe and look at everyone, but eye to eye, we're all looking at each other. Yes, no need to evaluate, no need to critique. You're just looking into each other's eyes. Allow yourself to just be with each other. And then brothers and sisters and they, let's take a moment to just seal all that in, kind of download each other's faces by just gently leaning back and closing your eyes, right? Lean back and close your eyes so you can continue to see. So close your eyes and just allow whatever is coming up for you, any feelings, any thoughts, just take this moment to just sit with your eyes closed. Notice your breath. Notice the centering and the grounding that's created from being together. And then, with a nice inhale and exhale, I want to invite you to open your eyes back up. And we're going to look into our screens one more time. And this time, brother, sister, or they, I want you to look into your eyes. I want you to use the screen to see you. So come in close, you beauties. Look into your eyes and just stay for a while. Just gaze into your eyes. Notice your breath. Notice as you stay with you a little longer, notice anything that comes up, okay? You don't have to evaluate it, just notice. And then again, brothers, sisters, and they, I want to invite you to either, usually this is a time that I would say, let's do a little reflective writing, or just close your eyes and allow this reflective feeling to go through you. So let's close our eyes, or even if you have a journal, I usually have a journal with me everywhere I go, y'all. So if you have a journal and something came up for you, go ahead and write a little reflection, or just close your eyes and let your mind reflect. So family, will stay here for one more breath. So if you're writing down, see if you can finish up that last line. And if you are writing, go ahead and put your pen down. I'll tell you all why I usually invite people to use that pen and paper. A lot of times things, stressors, or things that are just on my mind, to avoid them getting locked in my body, a lot of times I use that pen and paper to just write so it can lose its power over me, right? So that pen and paper is so powerful at us releasing. So if you were writing, go ahead and put it down. And then I want to invite everyone again to just gently close your eyes and find the most comfortable position that you can. And I just want to share some words with you. I love this idea of this generational remembering. It's a concept that I've kind of been playing with for a number of years. So with your eyes closed, please just pay attention to my voice and pay attention to yourself. I usually say we close our eyes so that we can see. So let's see this, brothers, sisters, and they. Let's see that we all came here as love. Let's see that we are all the power of the cosmos, arriving as pure intelligence in perfect harmony, utter beauty, and perfect timing. Let's see that we are all biological beings, different stories, same results. We are all story keepers, here to mend the circle of life for ourselves, our families, communities, and Mother Earth. We are all the result of the love of thousands. We can all adopt this thought right here, right now, that when I put down what is not mine to carry, I am set free. Brothers and sisters, and they, when we are not carrying the secrets, not carrying the issues of others, wellness comes, a collective wellness. And we get to see who we are when we are free from those burdens, from those lies of the past. Brothers and sisters, we all recognize that when we think a thought, our body responds. So our thoughts are so powerful. The memories we hold on to, the traumas, the stress, the joy, all of it can be in our bodies, and we can release what needs to be released. We can hold what we choose to hold. Keep breathing with me. I have a reading from a sister here in the US, Octavia Rahim. She actually lives in Atlanta, Georgia. And she wrote this, and I want to share it with you all. I want to breathe it with you all. It says, I am free. My mama's pain is not mine to carry. My daddy's suffering does not belong to me. I don't have to make grandmama's weariness my own to maintain a connection to her. I don't have to drink from the same cup of sorrow as my granddaddy to feel like we have something in common. When I put down what is not mine to carry, I am free. Free to face the very real historic and systemic oppression that created the suffering and pain for my people without the fear. Free to access the power, the courage, love, and strength of my lineage and carry it forward in a way that is boundless. Free to command justice when and where I enter. Free to call in peace with each breath I take. Free to summon armies of protective guides to go before, behind, and surround me. Free to pour the medicine of joy, harmony, and abundance from the ladle of my heart into the bowl of my being. Free to drink deeply of the sweet nectar of my life. Free to be at home whenever and wherever I am. Free to walk a path of profound liberation with each step. Free to rebuke the narrative that where and who I come from are permanently broken. Free to remember how to rise and finally get on with the business of rising up. Free to restore wholeness. Free to stand and testify on behalf of myself and the millions who live within me that my life matters, that our lives matter. My daily practice right now is to feel and release. My ancestors are more than pain and suffering, and so am I. Family, let's all consider the impact of our decisions on 7 generations, right? In our bodies, we hold the stories of 7 generations before us, and how we live, think, and behave affects 7 generations ahead. So brothers, sisters, and they, what you heal today, you are also healing backward, forward, and horizontally, affecting your ancestors, your children, your children's children's children, and your immediate family circle, and your tribe, and your community right now. Just keep breathing. Keep noticing. Notice anything that comes up for you right now. Notice any cycles. We get to remember, you all. This remembering, this generational remembering can provide the initiative to reconnect us neurologically and spiritually. We can see some suppressed memories, some suppressed lies, some suppressed truths. Remembering requires the expression of emotions. And while we all know that our world conspires towards the rational, we have to celebrate our intuitive of our ancestors, the ancestors that knew. Brothers and sisters, and they gather, go ahead and gather at your own heart and see who and how you show up. Everybody take a breath in. You're welcome to sigh it out. And again, I want to invite you, if you're a writer or reflector like I am, go ahead and grab your pen and pad and just write down anything that comes up for you. For those of you who would rather stay right where you are and keep reflecting using your mind and your body, allow yourself to be silent enough to hear anything and where it's coming up in your body. So right now, as you feel, just notice where you feel it in your body. 2 more breaths here. Mm-hmm. Beautiful, family. So because I want to pay attention to time. Time goes by so quickly, right? I want to make sure, because I have so much prepared for us, y'all. I always over prepare. But I want to make sure, just the same way we sat and remembered. And for some of you, you probably remembered some memories of your ancestors or individuals that love you. I love the idea of 7 generations and thinking about sitting in a big circle with my descendants, in a huge circle with all of my daughters, great granddaughters, and great grandsons and great granddad. But just like we were able to feel that, I want to invite you all to use your senses the same way with the senses, stress and trauma comes in. I want to invite you to consider using your senses to release out. So right now, I'll offer you these practices that I use with individuals and use with my clients. We can breathe from our eyes. And if we use our eyes to let go of images that you've seen that have caused unwarranted stress or trauma, right? So use your eyes. A lot of times I'll say, just sit and breathe from the eyes. So let's think about all our senses, family. What about our ears? We can breathe from our ears with our eyes closed. We can just breathe in and out through our ears to release any messages that you've heard, any negative messages that have come into you through that sense, right? And then our nostrils. So you all know that our olfactory system, our olfactory nerves are the shortest nerves in our bodies. So that's why it seems like a smell can take us back to a place. So they're short. And so that comes in really quickly and we receive it really quickly. So yes, let's use our nose even in breathing to release any smells from our past or experiences that have been distasteful or have harmed us or hurt us in any way. And then this is one of the most important ones, you all. I want to invite you anytime that you need to use your skin to exhale. Exhale any unwanted touches, not just for yourself, for others. So right now, I am exhaling every day. I am exhaling through my skin unwanted touches from the oppressor, historically as an African-American woman. The unwanted touches that happened to my great-great-great-great-great-grandmothers and grandfathers. So I invite you all to just use those 5 senses as a way to release. Being very mindful of the time, brother. I see that it's 7:26. And I think I'm just going to end with this so that if there are any questions, I just want to remind you all, and I say this a lot, and I think we say this a lot in the US, especially with the 2 pandemics that are certainly affecting us. So we have one pandemic, and that is COVID, right? And that came in, and as it came in, it's attacking the breath, right? So for us here in the US, we have another pandemic, and that's systemic racism. And you all know about our brother and his knee being on his neck and the terms, I can't breathe. That other pandemic of systemic racism also affects our breath. And here in the US, what I say all the time is how you breathing is how you living. So you all, if your breath is high in your chest, that usually shows us that there's some stress. But when we have a full inhale, a full deep belly exhale, that's a reflection of calm, right? So we can always use the body. We can always use the breath, right? Use the messages we get from our body to tell us a story about where we are and how we are right now. And brother, I'll stop there because you know, you've watched me. You know I can go over my time. Your mic's muted.
Cre, thank you so much. I can listen to you for hours. There's so much in what you're saying, in your presence, in your joy. and everything that you bring. And we hope to see a lot more of you in one of our monthly, we're going to have a monthly POC group online. So there'll be more time and space for different people to present. I'm not sure if Dal was here yet. So I'm wondering if anybody had any questions, just please raise your hand and unmute yourself at Cre.
Oh, I see one question. What was the name of the person who was quoted? So Octavia Rahim, she's this sister down in Atlanta, Georgia, and she wrote this book. It's called Gather, and it's reflective writing proses, and then it also provides questions, just reflective questions. And y'all, if y'all want to check out an amazing soul, her yoga studio is Sacred Chill in Atlanta, Georgia, but you can go online and find her. She has online retreats. I participated in a few of hers. She has online yoga nidra sessions, yoga nidra. So you are Octavia. Oh, somebody already put Octavia up there. Yes, right on, right on.
Okay. Cre, thank you so much. Are you staying with us? Because I realize you have a lot of family to attend to, or are you going?
So I'm going to try to stay. I'll just pause my screen and I'll keep my headphones on, but I'll be trying to move into a space that's a little more comfortable instead of my garage.
Okay. Don't be a stranger. Love you. Bye. All right. Okay, Dawa. I believe Dawa is in. So whenever you're ready, Dawa, please begin. Where is he? So is he in? No, I just saw him. Look, where's the breakout room?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. Good morning.
Yes, okay.
Good afternoon.
Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you again, and I hope you had a good night and also a good day today. Today is the second day of this two-part exploration that I'm leading on mindfulness and empowerment. And if you were there yesterday, you heard me speak about why mindfulness is so important to gain any sense of control over your life and the experiences you make in life. And also I spoke about the relationship to power being such an important relationship to examine and to heal, particularly for people of color and other marginalized communities who suffer from this very, very frequent power imbalance. So today I want to go a little further with that discussion and with that exploration, and also pose some questions to you that will help you reflect, maybe in a way you've already done before or in a new way, on these themes. And then I'd like to invite you to share some of your reflections and also ask some questions and maybe engage in a light discussion in the format that is possible. I know we don't have smaller breakout rooms here, so we are going to be together in this group of about 40 people, but I still feel that it can be valuable to break up the format a little bit of just me speaking to you, but I do want to speak to you. So the relationship with the present moment I spoke about yesterday is key to really developing mindfulness practice. It's not just a technique. It also really involves a change of our relationship to trust, a change of our relationship to uncertainty or the unknown. And it also involves a shift in our values, because while we do value being present, we also actually value not being present. We value being absent. And unless we really can be honest about that, we make it sound like everyone is just on board with the mindfulness train. And even we really are completely in, when in fact there are something that are called competing commitments that make being fully mindful not that easy. So I want to first explore this with you, this relationship that you have personally with mindfulness and that you personally have with the present moment. So the first question I have for you is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you value being present yourself? And you just rate yourself, give yourself a score. How much do you value being present? I see somebody holding up an 8. That's great. And I know we all value others being present. If I ask you how much do you value others being present, you probably feel, I'd give that a 10. But for yourself, how much do you value being present? And then on the scale of 1 to 10, how much do you value being absent? How much do you value distracting yourself, zoning out? Because there's a lot of things that are overwhelming when you start being present. Then I have a question. What are some of the things that actually make you want to be here? And I'm going to phrase that loosely because that might mean something different for each and every one of you being here. But what are some of the things that make you want to be here? And then write down some of the things that make you not want to be here. What are some of the things that make you not want to be present? Not want to be here, wherever that means for you, being here. I'm appreciating some of you typing in what is coming up for you as you're doing this exercise. Yes. Some are talking about the vulnerability of being here. They want to be here because of connection with others. Some don't want to be here because of negative feelings, or feeling judged or inadequate. Some not want the connection either. Yeah, it's very good. The reason why this is so important is because what it makes us aware of is our values. It makes us aware of what we actually value. And we have only really 2 ways in our world at the moment that we can, that are like shared ways by which we attribute value to something. One is time and one is money. So wherever we dedicate our time to, that is what we value. And whatever we dedicate our resources to, and obviously our financial resources, then that also is what we consider valuable. Now, time obviously can express itself in many ways. It can be our attention, it can be that we help out, that we volunteer, that we contribute in other ways. But there is a relationship between our value system and mindfulness, or our ability or our willingness, our desire to be fully present. And I want to encourage you to not ignore that, because the mind doesn't respond well to force. It doesn't respond well to being pushed into being present. It responds really well when you clarify your value system, and your desire to be present naturally grows because it becomes more and more valuable to you because of your transformation on the level of your value system, what you actually treasure, what is important to you. I also want to give you one other thought, and that is, or maybe before I go there, I want to see, is anyone interested or willing to share just what came up in this reflection? Is anyone interested in sharing with the group some of your thoughts or comments or insights? I want to invite you for a couple of minutes to share. You can wave your hand if you are. I will call on you, or you can raise your hand on the Zoom platform. If I can't see a video, then you'd have to find another way to raise your hand. Anyone? Yes, Nina, thank you.
Thank you. I feel for me, it's really interesting what you're saying about values. I really sense that deeply, and with my own practice and as I teach mindfulness, secular mindfulness, I always start with an intention of what is it that I'm offering, or what is it I want to offer myself in this present moment. And then along with that, what's my motivation? You know, why am I really doing this? What really, truly, deeply matters at the heart level? And it feels to me like it's really connecting in with what you're saying in terms of values, because I feel that at the moment there's this real kind of selling of mindfulness at this kind of neurological level, you know, this kind of thinking brain. And we're seeing that, I feel anyway, with a lot of Western white neuropsychologists and scientists. And for me, coming back to the wisdom tradition, it's about the heart. So I ask myself that question, what really truly matters to me? And it feels very much connected with what you're saying about values and a spiritual compass. Interestingly, I found with the question of how much do you value being present, I put 7, which was an instant, and I need some time to process how that number just emerged. But the not being present was 5. And again, probably some time to sort of process, I think, some of that as well.
Thank you very much for sharing.
You. Yeah.
Yes. And one might think that one would, if one is a mindfulness practitioner, not value being absent, but we actually do. So I want to give you 2 other images, I think, that will be helpful before we shift into a conversation about empowerment and power. And that is what I call the roof line and the baseline of our practice. So the roof line of our practice really changes when we learn what practice is all about, and we develop our capacity, our skill through proactive engagement in the practice. The baseline, though, the baseline actually is all about healing, and it's all about releasing. So the baseline of our practice doesn't actually change until we begin to heal certain aspects of our life and of our heart, of our body, in our mind, and we begin to release things. So sometimes one can feel this frustration because one invests so much in shifting the roof line of one's practice, only to again be pulled down again and again, down to the bottom, where one has unresolved trauma or narratives or identities that really haven't had an opportunity to be integrated. And so I want to encourage you to understand that there's really two different practices that have to occur. The integration, or the really the creating of the foundation in terms of a baseline, is more the result of healing and of releasing than of learning and of achieving. And don't be frustrated when you practice a lot and you feel like you get pulled down again and again. It really has to do with the fact that there is releasing and healing work to do. And when you do that work, the baseline changes. And it won't be the same experience, because there will be a lift coming from the bottom that you could never get by striving toward greater development through just learning and effort. So explore that. That has been the discovery in my work, in my practice, and also in the way that we work with a lot of teachers and other practitioners. So when we talk about the relationship with power, which I mentioned yesterday that I wanted to explore with you today, a good way to think about it is that power is a universal principle that was introduced to us in some way, and that we have had a natural relationship to ourselves, and then that we observed in our environment in the way that others had a relationship to it. And I want to invite you to explore what you observed. What relationship to power were you introduced to? Who did you see in your environment have what kind of a relationship with power? First of all, I want to ask you, what do you consider bad power in your own value system? What is bad power? And then the second question is, what is good power? And we have to, maybe this already brings up something, because you may not believe that there is such a thing as good power, or you may have not experienced it, or you may not believe there's such a thing as bad power. I don't know. But we have examples of a lot of incredible leaders, also in the movements important to people of color, that have had and yielded a lot of power, and they needed to in order to accomplish their work and their mission and their calling. So what does that mean for you? What is bad power for you? What is good power for you? And where do you believe that your ideas about power come from? Who taught you about power? Did you have anybody who actually consciously taught you about power? Or did you just kind of picked it up accidentally here and there, modeling someone else or trying to piece it together on your own? And who was the first person in your life that you observed abusing power? in my case, my first experience of abuse of power I observed in the family. I observed dynamics between my parents and us children, and between them, between each other. I witnessed abuses of power that left me very ambivalent about who should have power, how much power should they have, and what should they do with it. So I don't know what it was for you when you first experienced it or observed it. And then also, who in your life was actually a great steward of power? Who do you know that actually has a lot of power in your personal life? A friend, maybe you yourself, maybe a family member, maybe a mentor, that you know they have a lot of power and they are a great steward of it. The world is better off, where you can really absolutely say the fact that they have the power they have makes the world a better place. You guys are putting in great comments. Compassion-based is good power. Yes. Power with, being connected, strong together. Love and unity. Good power, inspiring others to change positively. Good power, the ability to make positive change. Yes. First observation of abuse of power, my parents. Yes. Good power, my mentor. Good power, primary school teacher. Granddad, abuse of power. So the empowerment, the process of empowerment means to receive authority or power in order to do something. And depending on what you consider the source of that authority or the source of that power, then the process of empowering or of empowerment will be either something internal, external, or both internal and external. And it will be either something that you are very open to, or that you feel a certain ambivalence or resistance toward. So spiritually, if you consider the source of spiritual power God or the divine, or you consider the source of spiritual power Buddha nature or Christ, then your ability to be empowered by that source depends on your openness to that process, whether or not you are willing to be fully empowered by what you consider your spiritual source. With regard to what you do in the world as well, is who are you waiting for to give you power and authority? Are you hoping that or waiting that someone outside of you comes to you and says, okay, from today on, you are fully in charge of your life. I authorize you to live your life the way you choose? I know I have many times in many areas of my life been in phases and worked still through phases where it is as if I am waiting for someone else to give me permission to do something that is important to me. And I know that that has to do with the relationship we have to the power and agency, yeah, the real willingness to fully accept the process of empowerment and to fully understand what is the source of that empowerment. I have been empowered by my teachers to do many things as a teacher myself. And yet, Is it from them that the power comes, or is it that they give me the permission to trust myself, to be empowered from within? Yeah, so that is a really important and interesting investigation. What I want to ask you is, where are you receiving your authority and power from? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how willing are you at this moment to receive it? Where are you receiving your authority and power from? What is the source of your authority and power? And how willing are you on a scale of 1 to 10 to receive that? Empowerment is a transformative force. It changes us. It is meant to change us. So it is also okay if we're struggling with really being willing to be empowered in many areas of our lives. Where are you receiving your power and authority from? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how willing are you to receive it? Very nice. Conscience, myself, 10. Yes. Feel in to type something in. Feel free to type something in. So then as a next step, I invite you to look at your life and to look at a few main areas with regard to empowerment, in regards to where do you feel empowered and where do you feel disempowered. Yeah. So, and we'll look at a few main areas. You can really look at any area in your life that you want. Life is more of a spectrum than a set of categories, but we like categories. And so we like to divide the spectrum into different categories so as to have easier reference points. So I'm just going to pick a few reference points like this for you to do the exercise, but I invite you on your own to really go through your life and to look, where do you feel empowered and where do you feel disempowered? And what is the source of the disempowerment and that empowerment, and how might you experience greater empowerment through your own awareness and through your own clarification of that process? One area is relationships. So how empowered do you feel in your relationships? And that usually expresses in your ability to be yourself, to communicate, to speak your truth or to have your voice, to express your needs, to listen and understand the needs of others. How empowered do you feel in your relationships? And it doesn't matter whether those are friendships or intimate relationships, that's up to you. Yeah, but how empowered do you feel? How empowered or disempowered do you feel in your finances? In your relationship with money or with material possessions? I think that was my 3-minute warning, 3-minute reminder. Good. And then how empowered do you feel with regards to your physical and mental and emotional health and well-being? These are 3 areas where we all struggle. Yeah, our relationships, our finances, our health and well-being. These are in general where most people are constantly learning and growing through challenges. So that's why I use those. but feel free to go into other areas in that exploration. And then also yesterday, and this is what I will say to finalize our session, is go through the things that you have control over with regard to your action. I mentioned yesterday that we have mental actions, our thoughts, our attitudes, what we imagine, and then we have physical actions, what we say and what we do. And when we look at our sense of empowerment, sometimes it can be very developed in one aspect of our mental or physical actions and very neglected in another area of our physical and mental actions. For example, we may give ourselves license to think freely, but we feel choked in expressing our ideas and our thoughts to the world. Or we feel very comfortable speaking our mind, but we feel very afraid to allow ourselves to think outside of the box of the framework that we have come to believe or buy into. Yeah. So you can have someone feeling very empowered in either mental or parts of their mental and physical expression, and feeling very disempowered in another part of their mental and physical expression. So I wanted to invite you to explore that. There is a woman, in my opinion, humble opinion, who's done very extraordinary work on the relationship with power that I think you might find valuable. Her name is Sita Barstow, and she wrote a book called Right Use of Power. And it is based on her work on the role that power plays in ethical relationships. She herself is a therapist, but the work is really transferable in much of what we're discussing at the moment with regard to equity and social justice and the dynamics that we have between all of us. So I think you get a lot out of that. It's in my opinion, it's very good work. And that's it. That's the time we had. I hope it was helpful. And thank you for participating.
Thank you, Dawa. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Please say hi on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. I'd love to stay in touch. Bye, guys.
So we're nearly done for the weekend. So we have another hour's break for you to maybe spend some time doing some walking meditation or reflecting or resting. And then I'm going to offer a forgiveness meditation and a little talk I put together. And then we're going to have a small closing ceremony. So for the meditation that I'm going to do, I'm going to invite people to, if they can, to lay down on the floor or on the sofa in an hour's time. So just come prepared with a blanket or something. But obviously, if you can't do that, then we'll just, a chair is absolutely fine. So we're going to do forgiveness in 3 directions. So it's forgiveness at oneself, forgiveness at another individual, and also asking for forgiveness. So maybe in your break now, you can begin to consider what in myself do I need to forgive? What am I mindful of the different dynamics that have taken place this weekend? What am I seeing and not seeing? And maybe you can pick another person who you are forgiven, someone maybe where something has shifted and moved in this weekend. You're seeing them in a different view. And of course, the last one is, what have you done? So what maybe you now have become aware of in terms of maybe asking someone for forgiveness. And so we're all talking about the interpersonal here with forgiveness. I know there's a societal one and there's a lot of other dynamics at play. So anyway, please enjoy your break, and we will have the hour's presentation and then followed by the breakout room and the closing ceremony. Thank you.